Hello everyone, my name is Denise. I'm a Catholic counselor, and today's video will be Depression, the Feeling of Emptiness, and Possible Remedies. It's quite a long title. Later I'll truncate it to make it into a tidy thumbnail. Okay, so when you are depressed, or maybe sometimes even anxious, you don't feel good. I know, understated, right? Okay. So there's this thing called anhedonia. You can't experience pleasure, or you don't experience it as much as others. For example, people might eat a slice of cake and I'm very satisfied and I feel so good already. But you don't get that satisfying feeling. You might have to eat a lot of cake, like one whole big chunk of cake, the whole cake, and still not be as satisfied as someone who just eat one slice of cake, for example. That's due to certain factors, including the lack of serotonin in your brain. Okay? Sorry, I digress. Anyway, because of that, right, this constant feeling of restlessness, and also of unhappiness, it's very normal for patients to start to feel something in my life is not going well. I need to change. Okay, that's the natural conclusion, right? You cannot wake up every day and feel like crap, right? And just like, okay, I'm just going to continue living like that. Okay, very few people do that. Most people will try to start to think like, I need to change, but what in my life needs to change? So, not to be like too overgeneralizing, but a lot of the common things I hear in the room include like, okay, some of the factors in my life are not working well, like A plus B plus C plus D equals to, it's not working well, depression, right? So I need to either change A or B or C, and then my depression will be lifted. Something like that. So some people assume that it's A. Maybe A means your relationship, your marriage. Something's not going well in the marriage department. I need to change it. Either my spouse is not fulfilling her duty. He or she is not making me happy enough. So how about opening up the relationship? How about interviewing for a new spouse to replace? Some people go to that route. Some people say, maybe my job is not doing so well. Maybe I'm not in a job that is maximizing my potential. Maybe I'm not being paid enough. Then they grow resentful and angry with their jobs and say, I need to change, I need to start to pad up my resume, improve my LinkedIn profile and all that, and reach out to recruiters. Some people go to that, but very few people actually think about maybe a factor C, which I thought was, I'm going to put factor C today as spirituality, our connection with God. Like maybe something's going wrong there. My connection with God isn't so strong these days, and hence I'm depressed. So I need to fix this connection with God, and then my depression might lift. Okay, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. Some Christians do, and Catholics do get to that conclusion. Maybe C needs some working on, but it's actually much easier to look at factor A and B. Is it my marriage, my state of relationship? Is it my job? Right? But somehow, right, today I'm going to propose why looking at factor C, which is your relationship with God, is actually so important and so pivotal, and how in some way it actually is mirrored in the relationship with our counselor, our therapist, our psychologist, psychotherapist. Yeah, all these are different people who do similar jobs. Okay, so to dive right in. Okay, recently for the last 2 weeks, I've been going for a Christian anthropology course by Father David Garcia. I think a couple of years back, 8 years back, when I was still pregnant with my first son, I went also for a series of courses, the basic catechetical training for level 1 and 2. So some were run by Father David Garcia as well, but it's been so many years, and I thought like, I better go for a recap. Because I'm scared that some of the information is rusty, and I'm still helping some people in church, so I don't want to teach the wrong thing. So okay, need to go for a recap. So, and also it'll be good for my own development, for my own intellectual, moral development and all that. So okay, I went for the class, and a few things that got taught to me fresh, and also maybe a bit of a recap include like we are creatures of God, and God is not a watchmaker. He's not someone who like created us, like created a watch and just leave the watch to run, and occasionally he will tamper with the watch a bit, or like occasionally it's an occasional puppeteer to inspire you a bit, but most of the time it's up to you. In fact, creation is more like analogous to a relationship, like a singer to his song. Once he stops singing, the song stops existing. So God creates us moment to moment. And another metaphor that came up that I thought was beautiful during our class is like a projector to the projection. Once the projector is switched off, there'll be no projection, which means that God is creating us moment to moment. So that has very strong implications. The implications include like maybe the reason why you feel so empty is because your creation is not complete. Okay, but before I get to that, I want to drum in a point that I covered in a previous video, that evil is a form of privation. It's not a real entity. So imagine a circle, but if I draw an incomplete circle, that means it's still so-called a good circle. It's just not complete. It's missing this part. So that is called evil. Okay, the circle is incomplete. And of course, if you were the circle, you could talk. You might say, I feel very empty, I feel depressed, and I feel that something needs to change. Actually, what you need is to become complete. And who else to make you complete than your creator, who is like the projector or the singer of the song? So all the more it's important to re-engage and reconnect with God so that you can be created fully once more. Okay, so with that said, remember I mentioned how it's analogous to your relationship with a counselor. So the literature is very clear on this. Although some of us, we forget that, some therapists, we forget that the most important factor in a therapeutic relationship, in making counseling effective, is a therapeutic relationship. How strong your connection is to your therapist, how much you believe that he or she really cares about you and loves you. That is the most important factor. That's in line with Carl Rogers' person-centered therapy. Like, if you can truly love your clients, give them unconditional positive regard, they will heal and they will prosper and fully actualize naturally. Okay, so it's that connection that you establish with your client, the love flowing through, that's almost analogous to God's love flowing through you and creating you. Yeah, so that is so powerful. It trumps even, let's say, a number of years of experience, the modality used, and things like does your counselor have a master's or a PhD? How many papers he published and all that. All these actually don't matter as much as how strong the relationship is. So that has many implications because, okay, going to more technical things, like in modern age, right, the newest branch I would think of counseling, psychotherapy, tends to be very trauma focused, and tends to be quite almost very neurological. They like EMDR focus on protocols, like maybe 5 sessions of completing one protocol to the dog, or like recently I heard from my friend Gideon Mammy, similar. So they provide a service that you have a traumatic memory, you come in, you receive 5 sessions. I try to do the bilateral stimulation, now you're cured, and out you go. Okay, so that is effective, and there's a lot of literature to show that it works, right? But then you're using your therapist almost like you're using, for one of a better, like maybe visiting a dentist. You have a cavity, you fill it up, right? So you visit the dentist, and then you're really hoping that you don't have to visit her, or just visit her for routine cleaning, no more cavity or root canals or anything serious, right? Okay, no. So you may not form that therapeutic relationship with a dentist. So therapists who use maybe EMDR, MAMI and all that, they tend to follow that model. You come in quickly, I solve it, then you're out and you're free. So that actually runs counter to the long-lasting therapeutic relationship that I was talking about. Okay, with that said, some people also tell me, they also have told me this, and I agree also, the most important evidence that counseling works is that you don't need counseling anymore. But I think what is more accurate, what's more accurate is actually this, you form this very strong therapeutic relationship with your therapist. So that relationship now lies in a magic pocket at the back of your head. And you don't know it, but every single moment of your life, you're waking, your conscious or subconscious, when you're sleeping, your dreaming moments, that relationship still exists. So you don't feel like you are all alone in the world struggling. You know that when there's crisis, there's someone that you can rely on to co-regulate with you every moment. And also, let's say if you really need a session, you can always book the session and then talk to her or talk to him once more. So it becomes a very long-lasting relationship, and it's influencing you moment to moment. Remember, like I told you about God, right? Like a singer to his song, like a projector to his projection. So once you form that strong relationship, and it's so strong and you're fully convinced that your counselor got your back, your counselor, in spite of all your flaws, accept you fully for who you are and is willing to journey with you as you become a more perfect version of yourself, journeying with you, and then it's okay with that you're not perfect now, and it's fine. That's a very powerful relationship. Okay, so I'm just going to backpedal a bit to talk about the factor C, right, which is our relationship with God. Sometimes why we feel so empty is because we fall into the trap of imagining that if we have the best marriage in this world, like you think about those idealistic Hollywood Big Bang Bella and Edward Twilight kind of relationship, or I don't know, like just like a Cinderella relationship, or like the perfect kind of like idealistic relationship. You think you have that, then you'll be super happy, right? Nope. You think that you have the perfect career, right? You don't have to work a lot, but you get paid a lot, and then you get all the respect and admiration you need from your job, then you'll be happy. No, because these people also come for counseling and also report the feeling of emptiness. So, but a lot of them are missing factor C, which is they don't have this very strong connection with their singer or with the projector, and hence they feel empty because when the connection is weak, the circle cannot be fully projected. They are always in a state of incompleteness. They try to distract themselves, right, with the money to go and buy delicious food, big holidays, but they still feel empty and feel restless. They need to change something, and they think that by getting a more perfect marriage, a more perfect career, it can cure them. But no. I mean, if they are receiving counseling, it's not bad because they start to if the counselor is good, not saying that I'm good, I'm still a long way away from being a good counselor, but if the counselor is good enough, right, her love and unconditional positive regard for you will foreshadow a bit of the love that God is. So you may not know who God is yet, you maybe even haven't walked into church your whole life, but you experience a tinge of that love from your counselor. You establish that firm connection. It sets the path to you experiencing God and becoming complete, and that actually ameliorates the emptiness feeling for a time. But then again, if it's not strong, because remember the counselor is still human, then you need to always quickly come back every week, every 2 weeks to recharge, which is not ideal. Ideally, right, the connection should be with God. But with that said, you also know like God, you need to go for regular mass every week, do a good examination of conscience, go for regular confession in order to keep that connection steady. So it's an ongoing relationship, and there are things that we can do also to tap into that. Okay, with that said, right, I don't want to fall into the heresy of like of what's that, semi-Pelagianism, which says that we have to set ourselves up to receive the grace of God. Actually, no, it's what's that word? The primacy of grace. Grace already has come in. The fact that you are maybe watching this video or receiving love or some kind of godly love from some source already means that God has been pursuing you and found you. Now all you have to do is to say yes and cooperate. Okay, so a quick recap. If you're having this feeling of depression or anxiety and you feel very empty, it's normal to look at your spouse and blame him or her like, oh, there's something wrong, and then try to change that. Or look at your career and try to change that. But maybe for this season of Lent, I'd like to challenge you to look at factor C. How's my relationship with God? How can I connect better with my singer, with my projector, so that I can be more complete? And I think that is actually a winning strategy. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you found it helpful and it wasn't just bunch of meaningless ramblings. Okay, and if you found it helpful, kindly press like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much, and God bless.